Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Our focus today is on our children who are learning, playing, and growing in the nation's largest youth development organization. 4-H serves nearly 6 million young people across the country, including more than 6,500 here in Vermont. The cornerstones of 4-H continue to be head, heart, hands, and health. And that
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Strong kids, that's a great way to get our program started. And to learn more about 4-H in Vermont, I'm joined by Sarah Kleinman of UVM Extension. Sarah is the Director of 4-H Family and Farm Worker Education Programs. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure to be here.
So it's a special week for 4-H. What's going on?
It is. It's National 4-H Week. It's the start of October, which is the start of our 4-H year. So we have all sorts of activities and launching 4-H clubs, and it just is really the turnover time and getting the word out that 4-H is still very much alive and present here in Vermont, and we have all sorts of opportunities and pathways in which we can engage kids through our programs.
Fantastic. And you know, Tufts University conducted a first of its kind study on positive youth development, and what did it show?
Sure. It's really the first longitudinal study that's out there on positive youth development, and it showed that participation in 4-H as compared to participation in other youth-serving organizations is incredibly beneficial. Our youth are 4 times more likely to give back to their communities, 2 times more likely to engage in science programming, 2 times more likely to be civic-minded and make healthier choices as well. So 4-H really is impactful.
Impressive.
Yeah.
You know, Vermont 4-H offers a number of science-oriented programs, and over the last couple of years, the popular Science Cafe program has continued to grow. Here's what young Vermonters have to say about it.
I think the purpose of this Teen Science Cafe is to show people that there's a whole broad range of professions and expertise and different organizations that you can get involved in through 4-H.
Where we might find life in the universe, and
when you can actually see what you can do within your state, like Vermont, you never think like of NASA in Vermont or of these big like science experiments happening in Vermont, but I think definitely through this cafe we can see that there are professions within the state, within science, that are really exciting.
I think it's more engaging to and it's something different than school. It's a subject we haven't gone over so far, which is okay at school, but I like to learn about other stuff other than just what we're learning at school, which is kind of nice. This gives you opportunity for that.
Okay, it's great to see so many women, young women in these. So how else does 4-H incorporate science into their programming?
Well, 4-H is a life and job skill development program, and we offer programming that provides sparks for youth as a way that project area is a vehicle really for building those life and job skills. And science for over 100 years has been one of the hallmarks of our program. We have a long-serving embryology program. Most of the club programs are focused on animals. You may see youth showing cows or horses at fairs and field days. Sure. So animal science is a huge component. We do all sorts of robotics, really anything as time has evolved and we keep up with youth's interests, science, animal science, or STEAM, arts, math, all those components are ways that we help to provide opportunities for youth to find that spark and build into our programming.
All right, awesome. And you know, one of the joys of being part of Across the Fence, of course, is seeing the wide variety of 4-H programming. And you've run a drone camp for a couple of years. Talk just a little bit about that.
We have. That's lots of fun. That's in collaboration with the Spatial Analysis Lab that's offered out of the Natural Resource School at the University of Vermont. And that particular program is for, it was funded by Air Force for military dependents of the Air Force. And we worked with the Spatial Analysis Lab to help youth learn about drones and GIS technology. They learned how to fly the machines and what kinds of careers were available. And then they took the data that they were able to gather through flying and created maps and learned how to use that data and really, again, build those career force skills. That's
awesome. And here's what some drone camp participants have to say.
I heard the words drone and camp together. That immediately got me interested. And then my parents explained it to me, like we'd be flying drones, learning about how to make maps and how to use the drones to do more than just leisurely fly around. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
My first thoughts before coming to drone camp was just like flying the drone around and just having a good time, which is also what we did. But we got to learn more about the actual drones.
It's really about helping youth find their spark by providing opportunities for kids to find something that they're passionate about or interests, and we're trying to expose them to those opportunities. Once the youth finds that spark or finds that connection, it begins to send them on a positive trajectory.
Go 10 paces forward.
I really enjoyed this camp. It was a lot of fun.
I've liked everything so far. The counselors were fun. All the professional drone flyers, they were all fun and easy to work with because they made it easy to work with.
All right. Such great skills.
Definitely, yeah, very varied as well. And then being able to be on a college campus and make connections with faculty members and students, it's helpful to be able to then see yourself in the future and know that you might end up at that college campus or any other campus for that matter, but helps to build that sense of belonging and connection.
Well, let's talk about that sense of belonging. It's very important. How do you teach that?
It's not so much how we teach it, but it's how we go about providing positive youth development opportunities. A hallmark of 4-H is really about connection. It's about having mentors, and so the relationship with volunteers is really important. And we've learned through neuroscience and through a lot of new research out there that connection to each other is incredibly important to build, just to build healthy skills and resilience. So by ensuring that our opportunities are with trained adults, that they're in safe spaces that are inclusive and supportive, builds that sense of belonging. And then a club environment where you've opted in and you want to be a part of a group of kids that are studying or learning about something that's of interest to you is another way that we go about building that sense, because everybody that's there is interested in that subject material.
Right, and that probably spreads out to connection to community, because that study talked about kids really do more community service. So talk a little bit about that.
Exactly, community service, and civic engagement is a hallmark of 4-H as well. It's been for many years. And so clubs and programs are expected to build into community, step back, help to see what the community needs and see what's out there. One of our programs, Try for the Environment, is in a way an opportunity where the older youth learn about environmental curricula, and then they go and they provide training and education and opportunity for younger youth. And so not only are we building teaching skills with the older, but they're giving back and they're supporting some younger students. Also, a lot of our civic engagement around environmental issues is another way that we have built in that civic engagement.
Well, speaking of environmental issues, one example is the annual Youth Environmental Summit, very popular with teachers and the kids.
When I hear about any conferences or opportunities to work with 4-H, they're an awesome fit. They automatically jump out at me as a good match. We've had students who have done the teen science workshops and other programs with the extension, and I've just found that it really matches our mission to allow students to directly experience their learning and produce meaningful, authentic products that can be shared with their community.
We are recycling bottle caps, and we have created a system of where we shred bottle caps, melt them down, and make them into our own items that we can really create anything we want with molds. So it's like a mini recycling plant that we've made ourselves, if you will. Hands-on learning is definitely the way to go, because it feels like you're doing something more. It's planting, hopefully, a first seed of something that will grow and other people will realize and catch on.
Slowly start to pull this out if you want. I personally love conferences for the one purpose of networking. When I find students from Montpelier High School, from high schools that I didn't even know existed, from faraway towns that I've never been to, I create these bonds with these students, and through that we all have these young, imaginative brains. And so if you get all of us in a room, there's bound to be genius happening.
Okay, love that. All that hands-on stuff is so great that 4-H does. I heard a lot of confidence in those young people, and that's one of the skills that you want. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. 4-H there are really 4 elements of positive youth development. Mastery of a skill is one of them, independence, generosity. So through the learning, through that exploration that our volunteers will support, the youth gain that confidence. It's through that mastery that they build self-esteem. We don't teach riding in 4-H as an example, but we offer horse shows. And the reason we do that is for youth to be able to practice and get up in front of other people, and whether they make mistakes, whether they take first place or last, it's that ability to build that self-esteem, that confidence, the self-efficacy that's incredibly important to our programs. Leadership is an enormous part of what we do. I have a whole person and a whole group of programs that are dedicated to really building individual leadership. The 4-H club structure is such that there's presidents and officers so that they build that skill, that practice, because hopefully they'll become leaders in our communities as they grow.
Absolutely. So how can youth and families get started with 4-H?
Well, they can reach out to us. They can go to our website, or they can make a phone call to 1-800-571-0668 and ask how they can get involved or talk to their 4-H educator. There's the club program, but there's also lots of other ways and opportunities to engage in our programs.
Okay, awesome. And what do you want to say to a parent or family who might be considering 4-H?
That they should just check it out, that they should come, they should visit, they should explore. 4-H is often for the youth, but really the entire family can benefit from it, and that they shouldn't be daunted necessarily by some of the club processes. We've been around for a very long time, and so I think people think it may be generational or it's only for agriculturally focused people, but it's not. There's so many different kinds of opportunities there, and if you have a skill to offer and you want to share, then we're welcome to help support that.
Okay, so they can come in as instructors as well.
Absolutely. For volunteers, we are always looking for folks, whether it's a short-term opportunity or something more longer term.
Okay, Sarah Kleinman, thank you so much for coming in and talking about 4-H and getting us psyched about it and all the variety that it has to offer.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard.